Nah. Well, some of us will survive. Hell, I don't even know if I will. God bless, man. Woo! Watching Getting Wetty, Getting Wetty. Yes, the rabbit's on the run. The rabbit holes are wide open. You gotta love it. Donald Trump declares victory. And the only thing missing was a little Georgie Bush on an aircraft carrier. Hey, can we bring it back a fucking Dukakis too? That way, everybody will look like a big man standing next to him. I'm sorry. What the fuck is wrong with peoples? Oh, I know. Because yesterday was supposed to be April Fool's Day. That way, they couldn't distinguish between what is fake news and what is, April Fool's news. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised nobody has kind of been throwing those comparisons around. Donald Trump's April Fool's Day declaration of winning. I don't know if they can say they won yet, but winning and supposedly in Iran. I guess we have different measures of winning, So yeah. Sure, they've bombed a lot of targets, Obama Shekel AI. Was it Claude? Or there was another Battlefield AI program that that Israel used to literally to bring to rubble, the Gaza Strip. Strategically, block by block, brick by brick, building by building, street by street. Yeah, kind of a little bigger place to play whack-a-mole, in Iran. Of course, Donald Trump declared victory and said, we're going to bomb the fucking snot out of them for 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks at the most. And they will be in the Stone Ages again. Sure, Don. Hey, wasn't that the same thing they said about Vietnam? I mean, I'm just referring back, that they didn't believe that the Vietnamese had a chance against the U.S. military in Vietnam. Do you remember that thing? It's crazy. Yeehaw! Hey, good morning, Revolution Radio. God bless you. Welcome, everybody. It's time for the Revolution in the Morning show, live from Franklin County, Virginia. I'm your host, Mitchell Bupp. Yeah, Donald Trump declaring victory, giving a whole list of stuff that we bombed their Navy, we bombed their Army, we bombed their missiles, we bombed this, we bombed that. We killed 30-some Ayatollahs and Rockarollas, and they still haven't cried, Uncle Donnie! Uncle Donnie! I'm sorry. I just think the irrational expectations of Donald Trump not realizing who he's really fucking dealing with, okay? The sad part is Donald Trump thinks he's only dealing with, Islamic crazies in Iran. That's Donald's problem. That's all he thinks he's bombing, he's doing. If he doesn't realize or maybe I'm sure Howard Lutnick and is it Susan Wiles and these other gatekeepers around Trump. I'm sure that they are, that they aren't telling Trump that, oh yeah, by the way, Israel is going to annex part of Syria and Lebanon and half of the Gaza Strip down to the mid-range. And, because the simple fact is, because Israelis are such bigoted, horrible, fucking human beings that they can't live with another religion or particularly an Arab in it as a neighbor. That, they do literally harken back to the time in the 1800s in the United States. That's the state of the Jewish brain in the Middle East. Now understand the other side. I don't want to use the idea of cowboys and Indians. Okay, but because cowboys are getting a bad rap in this in this deal. Okay. Maybe you could call it greedy land dealers, okay, versus Indians. That's basically what you have going on in the entire Middle fucking East, okay? It's fucking baked, all right? In the Middle East, all the cultures are still stuck 1,000 to 2,000 years ago. In the infancy of the retardation of their so-called civilization, as everybody goes back and tries to find the roots of Judaism and the roots and the rock of Islam and blah blah blah. I mean, give me a fucking break. And the Wailing Wall, Jesus, God bless, man. Talk about a false idol on this fucking planet. I'm just mouthing off, okay? And it is, Easter, right? Easter weekend, Easter this season. It's just plain fucked up, okay? That Donald Trump is essentially, furthering greater Israel, and Mike Huckabee says, well, it's theirs, they can take it. It's not theirs. That's not theirs, that Zionist Mike Huckabee. Okay, I don't, would you fall into the golden shekel or some shit? I mean, I'm sorry, but you people are absolutely 100% wrong in the Middle East. On both sides of the religious and the quasi-political systems that run it, okay? I don't give a fuck if you're talking about the mullahs in Iran, which are no fucking help, okay? Remember, the U.S. spent $1 trillion to replace the in Afghanistan to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. Now, whether people are paying attention to this Iran and U.S. war, right? Because it's really going sideways for the U.S. NATO is dissolving, as pushed back because of a lot of it is because of the oil prices. Remember, Russia literally cut its arm and leg off of Russian oil, the European Union, over Ukraine. The U.S. sanctioned it. Europeans and I believe Ukrainians, helped by European NATO, blew up the pipeline, the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, I believe it was. We have to understand that this is a world war. You may not quite understand it, but Pakistan and Afghanistan are at odds again. Okay, the fleecing of the first world, I guess you could call it, is well underway, and it's laughable. I'm just saying it's absolutely laughable as to what has gone on in this world. Just as the Somalis, and I'm sure Indians, have also done this to American healthcare systems and our educational systems by committing all this fraud and all this other stuff, right? Well, it turns out there's been a whole thing about these Indians that are online bragging about scamming Europe's educational system, where European students sink in debt, migrants openly mock the system, they are exploiting it. It's the same thing in the United States of America. Why? It's always been known that illegal immigrants come into the United States for the health care benefits, along with the opportunity to work as long as they can. And then once you're here, oh God, there was a woman that was arrested and deported because she wasn't an American citizen, but she had been in the United States for like 39 years or some shit. I mean, decades. That's a failure of three systems, right? I mean, the system one that she got in on, and the system two that she was never flagged. I mean, you can't be here 39 years in the United States and not have to get an ID, not have to get some kind of services that requires an ID, okay, and to prove that you are a citizen. It's maddening. There was another federal judge. I mean, this is educational system, right? A federal judge has ruled that Donald Trump's Department of Education cannot sue the state of Minnesota because it allows in-state tuition as resident, okay, for illegal immigrants. Okay. All right. I mean, should they get any federal aid at all? I mean, student aid until that's cleaned up. I think the only safe thing you can do is to cut it all the fuck off. I mean, seriously. Illegal immigrant university. Man, I'm telling you, it's a fucking nuts. Okay. Meanwhile, the Indian military, right, in India itself, unveiled an AI kamikaze drone. Yeah, it's cheap and it can kind of hover and because it's got a lot of wing lift, and it can just hover around up there. But remember, they have all these drones that are just about this big, that fly at super high speed and intercept these drones and quadcopters and everything else. They even have the rack-mounted laser systems now that supposedly are to run automatic, I believe, on like Doppler radar and then other systems that target. It's maddening what war is essentially becoming. In fact, there is close quarters combat drills now. That's right, with the AI bots. AI bots with man. That's some serious shit. Anyway, the big takeaway is that militaries in Ukraine and Russia and China and even the U.S. are increasingly interested in using like these robotic dogs that you see. So, they're kind of a novelty, but the truth is that you can strap a machine gun on one of them, an M4 or something, and put one on each side, give it like a saddle pack itself. Watch out, Robo Dog, and it's no, it's not a joke. I mean, this thing is this thing is real. Okay. Um, I talked the other day about the Chinese had these robo dogs, and this is here is the future. If you really want to know the scary fucking stupid truth, without developing our own personal electromagnetic weapon that we have, that is enough range where we can defend ourselves against these animals. I don't think tasers and probes and stuff, and shock the shit out of them will do it. I don't know if a stun gun directly to one of these things will disable it. I haven't seen people, how should I say it, have things that debunked or showed that it could. But check this shit out right here. It's a free drone. Get off the truck. There they go. It's got machine guns on it. It looks like an AR-16 or something, 15. Turn it upside down. So you literally have a squad of drones.
切换手套和枪在握把控制。
So you get all their troops lined up, literally.
看，我现在已经被狼群包围了。
So essentially, listen, that's without some way. Let me stop that. Without some way of literally combating these things, it's this future of warfare. Plus, understand that the U.S. government itself is not going towards these low-end cheap drones. They're trying to build these robo warriors, okay? Literally humanoid figures that literally probably have, just like the old we'd see in the sci-fi movies where they put on different attachment, click click, boom boom. That crazy shit is coming. Is there a Sergeant Murphy out there? Oh, that'd be fucked up. Trapped in a robot brain. But there is no need for that because those brain organoids, they will be the biological brain for the robots. I still think it's like everything else. They're working on the programming, and that's why they're training these things to play games like Doom and other strategic games. That would be almost like a base thought, the will to live kind of a thing. If you install that into one of these brain organoids, that's where you get this sentient AI that wants to live, and it does try to get out, and it tries to live in a format. So yeah, it's we are actually moving into those types of scientific truths. It's a bizarre fucking world that we live in, man. I'm telling you, okay? So yeah, it's oh God, where do we start? Yeah, after Tuesday night, not long later that day, or Wednesday, April Fool's almost. Some of these political crimes that were committed by the Democrats and the CIA. against Trump in 2016 and at the end of 2020 over January 6th deal. It's sheerly crazy. Yeah, sheerly crazy. Surely. Now, also, if you didn't know, Donald Trump, a lower federal judge, I'm sure this will be appealed all the way to the Supreme Court. There is no doubt, okay, that the speech that Donald Trump gave was not, and this is kind of a moot thing, okay? This is just a moot thing, but it's just another way to bend the brain into people's ideas, okay? That the speech that Trump gave on January 6th was not covered by presidential immunity because it was not a presidential act, okay? That this federal judge said it was a political and a campaign act, not a presidential duty thing. Anyway, I'm sure that's going to be debated and argued. The other part of that is, just like the deep state does all the time, is they leave vital pieces of information out. First off, Donald Trump never told anybody to go to the Capitol and riot. Second off, if you look at Supreme Court precedent, and these retarded liberal lawyers all know this. They know this because it had the same clauses and the same speeches have covered their fucking asses all over the board, okay? When Maxine Waters is saying, go get them, don't give them a piece of rest, get in their face, harass them, blah, 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 okay? I mean, no wonder she looks like a pruned sourpuss or some shit. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. I'm just saying, listen, here is another clip that is going to be coming out that you guys have to understand and see. You have to understand, of course, that there was a major conspiracy against Donald Trump. Now, I do this show called the Trump Assassination Files. Go over to the TrumpAssassinationFiles.com, and I just wanted to say I'm getting banned everywhere. Okay, I just wanted to let you know. And so we're going to try to, I guess we're going to push some stuff out on Twitter, or not, yeah, on Twitter. Oh my God, Twitter. See how old I am?
They have said it
Here it is.
You have this new piece on Substack that the USAID and the CIA helped orchestrate Trump's impeachment.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, it's a crazy story. I mean, you might forget that, the House of Representatives impeached President Trump in December of 2019. Many people may not remember that it was a CIA analyst who was left over from the Obama White House who wrote the memo that led to the impeachment. It was all based on hearsay. The person had not actually been in the room with Trump. Nonetheless, this memo that he wrote relied heavily on a report done by an organization funded by USAID. In fact, its initial founding funding, I mean, now it's tens of millions of dollars, had gone into this group called the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, a name that's not very memorable, OCCRP, but it was basically created as an extension of the State Department and then of USAID. And as you know, Jesse, this is very serious to be involved in an effort to do regime change at home, as we've been discovering as the files have come out with what Elon Musk has been doing. We know that USAID was really about regime change abroad. It was a kind of public-facing part, regime change operation like CIA, but not covert, more overt. Well, now you see a similar blowback, just like they did censorship abroad and brought censorship tools back home. They were doing this sort of thing abroad, creating a predicate essentially for Trump's.
Wait a minute, dude. Listen. You're a fucking jackass, okay? Yeah, you have to unwind the fucking apple a little bit. Understand that Barry Sorrento, Traitor 44, okay? Whether you want to call him a hero or not, I don't give a fuck. He's a fucking CIA Manchurian president. Fucking Pedo Joe, the knucklehead jackass from Delaware. Another CIA puppet president. Anybody believe that if you ain't black, you don't vote for me? Got 7 million more votes than Barack Obama? Give me a fucking break, okay? Only if you count 7 million illegal immigrants. God bless, man. And then go back to, the retarded Bush, George Bush. The brains in that administration, lie in the hands of corrupt Dick Cheney. His heart was so fucking bad it never even fucking pumped. No soul there either, by the way. Man, I am telling you. Good old... Yeah, and then before that, it was the first rapist from Arkansas. I mean, really? I mean, I'm sorry, but the fucking train, dude. The train left the station 50 fucking years ago. Where you been? Just asking. I'm sorry. Did I say something? Yeah, well, I don't, man, I don't get tied up in it too much, but, some, yeah, you gotta hand it to some people. They know just how to put it into words that sometimes I just didn't. Okay? Here it is. The straight truth. It's not bullshit. It's not bullshit. It's Trump shit.
Again, that's why the cover of this Trends Journal is exactly what it is. It's Trump shit. Why isn't this guy being thrown out of office for his outright lies every fucking day? Calm down, Celente. We'd watch you if you would only calm down, and we don't like your language. We're little cocksuckers. Porous little pricks who like this bullshit. We swallow bullshit. They're all around them. All right? Again, that's...
Oh, yeah. Crazy, isn't it? Gerald Celente. Even Michael Weiner. That's right, Michael the Weiner, a.k.a. Michael Savage, talk show host, retired, has come out and broke with Trump. Remember, Trump basically ran on a no new wars, no wars, let's shut down the Ukraine war, and, Trump has failed across the board. And the war of choice for Israel, really. And now with Israel basically coming out and said, "Oh fuck no, we're not gonna send any troops to help you, motherfuckers. Are you kidding me? Really? You expect us to die for Americans? Here, have some shekels. Make it rain." I mean, seriously. Seriously, what the fuck is up and what is wrong with peoples? I mean, that's why I ask. I mean, everybody gets to own and buy their paranoid delusions when they choose, I guess. Nancy Pelosi thinks that Trump will cheat this coming election, that they're going to hack the election, that they're going to rig the election, just like Democrats did. When Joe Biden said, "I have the biggest and most basically sophisticated voter fraud organization in history." Oh, yeah, he probably counted, was counting on 500 million Chinamen. And then everybody didn't realize that, one, they lied on their census. And number two, they're hitting the demographic dead wall of senior citizens in China versus the ability to have a population replacement. Yeah. Beware of AI. Remember, governments and police forces across the United States are now using AI to scan Facebook, to scan public posts, to scan the internet, to see if they can get a facial recognition on somebody somewhere. There's something. A Tennessee grandma was jailed for 5 months after she was flagged for bank fraud in a state she never visited. Yeah. Anyway, Angela Lips, 50 years old, arrested at her rental home in Tennessee in July, extradited to Fargo, North Dakota. I'd choke on that too, wouldn't I, puppy? Man, more than 1,000 miles from her home at the end of October, according to a GoFundMe to help, I guess, help her get back on her feet or whatever. The West Fargo Police Department had used facial recognition technology that flagged Lips as a potential suspect in a local fraud case. Anyway, the Dave Zabrowski, the Fargo Police Department chief, told CNN from there the department took additional investigative steps, independent of AI, to assist in identification, and confirms that Lips as the suspect. She admitted at the press conference Tuesday that the West Fargo's police system was part of the issue. Yeah, imagine that. Yeah. There was another part. Wells Fargo bankster systems. Yes, this woman was initially flagged by Wells Fargo AI systems that identified her. From further investigation by her public defender. So, I'm sure that would have had to have been in the police reports, because the bank had to report the fraud. For them to report her name, and her address and such, they literally had to have something, some paperwork that they had to file to get a warrant to go get her to do anything. During the 5 months while she was in custody, her reputation was tarnished, of course. She lost all of her stuff. Her rental home was gone. All of her belongings were seized when her storage unit bill went unpaid. She claimed in a GoFundMe. That just sucks. During the 5 months she was in custody, the fundraiser cleared $68,000 on Sunday, which is good, I guess. This past Sunday. The police department in Fargo, North Dakota, said that we will no longer be sending or utilizing information from Wells Fargo's Clearview AI because it's their own system and we don't know how it's run or how it's overseen. They added that all facial recognition identifications will also be shared by the department's investigation division. So they, somebody's getting shit sued here. I'm sure Clearview AI, I'm sure Wells Fargo is better put something with at least 6 zeros behind it for this woman. Okay, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't think she deserves, hundreds of thousands of dollars. She deserves 3 to 5 million at least. Okay. She's, I mean, it's seriously fucked. That's what I would say. Well, anyway, man, I mean, AI chose you. You're going down. That's the sad part of it. Okay. Let's get over here and find some fresh news and information. Okay. Let's get the latest. Of course, the Colonial Pipeline restarted. Didn't know it had stopped. The largest U.S. gasoline pipeline was damaged in Georgia. The pipeline was shut down, and it was restarted. Colonial Pipeline's Line 1 flows were restored after the damaged section was repaired in Georgia. Let's see. I'm sure that was a 24/7 job. I'm sure they had 2 or 3 crews working on that, on repairing that piece of the pipe. Literally, pulling it down, and then I don't know if you have to flood that section with water or not. I guess, I've seen them after they've been cut up and taken out of the ground. I've never been around natural gas lines, anything above 14 inches that was active, that was being removed. We was always putting the big new lines in. Okay. It's one of the jobs I evidently, made in the stop of life. The output hit with 1.5 million barrels of fuel per day, gasoline from Houston to North Carolina, supplying an East Coast market that remains heavily dependent on pipeline deliveries. Whoa. Pipeline deliveries. Yeah, it's crazy. First the refinery, and now the pipeline. Remember, the Port Arthur, Texas Valero refinery experienced an explosion, last week sometime, I think it was. 47,000 barrels per day of unit 243 hydrodiesel hydrotreater, I guess, it blew up. So be aware. There's also been several chicken farms and places that have been torched. So be aware of what's coming on and going down, and what's, food security is going to be a big thing. I don't know why people are paying $2,000 for a baby, a bull calf. I really don't know. Maybe they think that there's going to be a mass die-off, or there's just not going to be enough, and it's just going to be like just pure unvaccinated purebloods. They may be higher on the on the sex hit list for women that are looking to have an egg fertilized. Bad, Mitch. Bad. There it is. Contributions to Trump's accounts. That's right, Trump accounts. 4 million people have signed up with the Internal Revenue Service for Trump accounts. Trump accounts, contributions accounts are generally subject to an annual limit of $5,000. So, a kid starting as young age, his parents can put $5,000 in that account. I don't know about the withdrawals and all that stuff. But 4 million people signed up to the tax advantage Trump accounts. More than 1 million of those accounts have elected to receive the $1,000 pilot contribution from the government. The IRS said in a March 31st statement, contributions can be made starting July 4th of this year All eligible children may receive deposits from parents, relatives, friends, employers, state governments, philanthropic organizations, and individuals. And it's all subject to an annual limit. Okay. So, yeah, $5,000 a year is the limit. And, I'm sure just like everything else, there will be stipulations and regulations. And 100% or 230% increase in the next few years, per keeping up with Congress and state legislators and their pay raises. Okay. Sad part of it might just be the cost of living in the next 10 years. If the way everything is going to go, a Trump and a dump, because it's not looking well. Purdy. Maybe if we're going to use children language, it's just not going to be purdy. No, I don't really think it's going to be pretty. Now, people have been asking and saying, look, what's wrong with Donald Trump? Look at him. Look at Donald Trump, man. He looks tore out the frame. He is tired. He is sleeping. He is getting thin in the face. If you watched his speech, and I'm going to wait, people will listen. This will be done today, okay? Because of Trump's live address last night, okay? He's lost a lot of weight. I think Trump's lost 30 to 40 pounds. And you can see it in his cheekbones here. Okay. But even with all the makeup and everything, and the Orange Man spray on tan or whatever the fuck he uses, I mean, who knows? That Orange Man spray on tan, God, that might give you fucking cancer. Anyway, if you get a video clip and you look and see. Trump blames the run-up in gas prices on the Iranian regime. I mean, really, Don? Really? Shouldn't we all blame Israel and Iran? I'm just asking, okay? So yeah. Trump believes that the gas prices and the price of oil will go down. Not sure how accurate that is going to be. But as I said before, maybe this is one of the reasons that Trump has this urgency about his own personal agenda for Trump and his feel-good heart and soul maybe thing. I'm not sure. Maybe that's what's adding to this thing, Remember, I said, Trump's got cancer. I mean, it's I just don't think he's going to make it to the end of his term. I really think they watched strategically what happened with Kamala Harris, and she was eating at lunch, particularly if they bring back Hillary Clinton to go against J.D. Vance. And see, here, that's one of the things. If Trump gets sick and has cancer and essentially has to drop out of office, that's another reason why. That's another black check mark against Hillary Clinton running, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay. I think Trump is misled. You know, if I read this, when I was going through this list earlier, and I pulled it back up again a few minutes ago, you know, if you look at this list of shit, it really does look like a list that was proffered by Israel. Okay, proffered by Israeli agents and supporters in the U.S. government. Okay, really. Trump is well, anyway. I guess, yeah, like everybody else says, it's Trump's presidency to lose. And, well, he, you know, yeah. What else we got going on here? Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. There is a possibility, there's more and more talk about this risky commando raid to seize Iran's nuclear fissionable materials. Okay. Pardon me, but I thought it was bombed into, you know, into a cave long time ago. According to U.S., according to Israel, you know, according to everybody in the world that, you know, I mean, this is what, the third, fourth, or fifth time that we've said we essentially we're going to bomb, we're going to take care of Iran's nuclear whatever, you know, material. Okay. Yeah. Oh man, I am telling you, you never know till you know. Okay. The world, or maybe not the world, but Kristi Noem, the former oh Jesus, yeah, Kristi Noem, you know, recently kind of pushed out of the Trump administration. Okay. Kristi Noem's political ambitions and political whatevers are dead, and now her husband has been exposed. Yeah, it's really strange. It's really strange that when Democrats find a conservative that is, well, another fruit that is sexually questionable stuff. Okay. I'm sorry, I can't see this, okay? But I guess it's true, all right? Anyway, Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security, right, was let go a couple months ago. Turns out that her husband has been, well, online doing some finding out that her husband's a cross-dresser. Yeah. I guess he was playing Pete Buttigieg, where they put on a big old set of knockers, you know, like a vest or whatever. Do they fondle themselves? Do they breastfeed? I mean, what the fuck's the deal? Oh, man, I'm sorry, but Jiminy fucking Christmas. Liberals are crucifying her and her family. And when, you know, you would think that liberals would be celebrating Kristi Noem and her family for being, you know, where's a picture of her dad? There he is. There he is. I guess the moral of this story is she never knew her husband had more silicone on his chest than she did. That's just some seriously fucked up shit. Noem maintained contact with at least 3 women with whom he shared numerous images of himself wearing enormous silicone breasts while dressing in a skin-tight women's clothing. Okay. All right. I mean, listen, wouldn't this turn liberals on to a conservative? That, oh yeah, conservatives are freaky in the bedroom too. I'm just saying, it's just and then this, of course.
Former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is asking for privacy and prayers tonight. She's said to be devastated by a report alleging her husband has been what is being called a cross-dressing double life. Senior national correspondent Rich Edson has details tonight. Good evening, Rich.
Good evening, Brett. Well, former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and now President Trump are responding to a report regarding Noem's husband's alleged online activities. A spokesperson tells the Daily Mail that she's devastated and that, quote, the family was blindsided by this, and they asked for privacy and prayers at the time. President Trump tells the outlet he knew nothing about it, adding, wow, I feel badly for the family. If that's the case, that's too bad. The Daily Mail alleges it obtained hundreds of messages between Brian Noem and 3 women involved in a site where men cross-dress. The Mail posted several of these photos and writes Brian Noem allegedly sent women in the community $25,000 in virtual payments. The publication says Brian Noem did not deny the explicit conversations, but says he never put national security at risk while his wife was secretary, setting up a potential blackmail situation.
What do my tits have to do with national security, they said.
Would lead to that. Brian Noem...
I mean, really, when you think liberals would just be celebrating these people, saying, that's my kind of freaks, man. Way to go. All right, Kristi. We never knew you guys were like that. We thought you were hardcore, religious commandos for Christ. God bless America. I want to know why the Texas Rangers. Yeah, I want to know why the Texas fucking Rangers. I want to know Greg Abbott down there in fucking Texas. Okay. I want to know. I want to know why they haven't. What do we got? We got 5 minutes. All right, it might take quite that long or longer. I'm not sure. I want to know why these motherfuckers in Texas are marrying 9-year-old fucking children. Hello? They're down there in the Lone Star State. What? Because the Dallas Cowboys suck? Because, they fucking, they might as well just give up their franchise and maybe they move it to Mexico, they get more fucking wins. I don't know. Okay? Who knows? But, oh my God, Christ on a crutch. Texas. What the fuck? Texas. There is, there are children being married in Sharia ceremonies in Texas. Now, I want to know why these motherfuckers haven't been literally fucking taken down. A bunch of fucking pedophile, child molesting Islamic motherfuckers. Really? Really, the serious question is, what the flying fuck? Texas. And this isn't, just coming where? Out of the blue. This isn't just by, just a claim out the blue, because remember, everybody's talking shit about up in fucking shitborn Michigan and the crapper in Minnesota with the Somalis. Texas Congressman Keith Seth dropped a bombshell on the on the House floor. A growing reality of Sharia adherent communities taking rock inside of the United States. These aren't something that people should worry about in the future. They're here now. The truth is, these motherfuckers, now, wherever they live, they will marry children to 70-year-old men for some fucking money. This is the truth that people aren't telling you, okay? Where is the clip? Let me find the frickin' clip, okay? They're creating a parallel society. That's what fucking Jews do, and this is what fucking Muslims do. It's the same thing. And all the liberals are fucking embracing these fucking clowns. Okay? There's no fucking diversity any place there are Muslims. If you think there are, you're fucking stupid. It's the same place like saying, I've got diversity in fucking Israel. No, you don't. You get child-raping Zionists who all believe they're better than you. God bless. The truth?
Sharia is alive, well, and operating in Plano, Texas.
Plano,
Right now,
Texas.
As I speak, there is an existing Sharia adherent enclave run by the East Plano Islamic Center
in my congressional district. It's been functioning for 12 years, right in our midst. This is not a hypothetical or future threat. It is here, now, and operational. Let me lay out exactly what already exists in Plano today under EPIC's control. 74 homes sold exclusively to Muslims affiliated with EPIC. No outsiders permitted. A massive mega mosque serving as the central anchor of the enclave. Sharia-adherent Islamic schools indoctrinating the next generation. Oh, by the way, we believe that the girls disappear at a certain point. A medical clinic, multiple businesses, an Islamic financing institution, providing a Sharia-compliant financing that rejects conventional American banking principles. Most alarming of all, according to a former senior Plano law enforcement official, there is speculation that there are unattended deaths in this Muslim-only community that are not being reported as required under society. A de facto agent and agencies like the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality have secured court orders, including a recent temporary restraining order in March blocking illegal utility district maneuvers. Federal probes, such as HUD's Active Fair Housing Act investigation into potential religious discrimination, add significant pressure. Yet the developers persist, rebranding and refiling to wear down resistance. Make no mistake, the enemy is inside the gates, building exclusive zones, enforcing foreign codes, and seeking to grow despite every obstacle.
Sharia does not assimilate.
Sharia never does assimilate. How does that sound? Woo. Yeah. Anyway, meanwhile, France approves a record number of asylum applications. That's right. What was it? 12% of these crazies that are trying to immigrate into France. The National Court reveals a historic statistical milestone. Grants in France reached an unprecedented peak. 2025, 78,782 were granted asylum, marking a 12% increase over last year. That's what I have to say, poor bastards. The rate also climbed to an all-time high, 47.1% when including unaccompanied minors. Listen, the flood of immigration in Europe is not over. These are waves that will continue to wash across Europe until it is completely gentrified, until the culture of Europe is washed away. And these mad men in the New World Order believe that they can play the master of disaster. They can play, they can play kings of the world. But as we know, with Donald Trump believing, yeah, just a quickie hit on Iran, just a quickie. It's going to be like duck sex. No, it's going to be a festering shithole for a long time. And really, the truth is, the Iranians are the one that really control the end of whatever war there might be. Remember, Donald Trump just surged a third U.S. carrier to that region. Why? Well, to hit Iran, of course. Now, a lot of nations are throwing up a lot of blocks in there where you can't fly over this place and you can't fly over that place. And Donald Trump has said, okay, well, we don't need NATO, and we haven't needed NATO. In fact, NATO is the reason that the war in Ukraine even exists. These crazies playing, a color revolution, a cultural change of everything. And what's really pathetic, what's really funny, is that the people of Europe themselves, they do not realize the extent of the cultural destruction of Europe. In some places in Sweden, they know and understand it all too fucking well. Okay, a lot of places are still blind, are still blinded to what these bastard religions of the Middle East have essentially stayed. The ideas, they have no new books. Have you noticed that? At least there's the New Testament that we're kind of supposed to be living under. But if you haven't noticed, whether it's Judaism or Islam, they have no new books, do they? I mean, I'm just saying, they're still living under the fucking religion that was way back when. Hey, sorry, Rev Radio. I hope you didn't hang out there too long. God bless you. Thanks for coming in. Man, we were just talking about, let's just say the quality of culture and religion. Do any of these religions have new books to update themselves, besides a Jew saying, yeah, we can use this technology to cheat what God said we shouldn't be doing? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, let's not lie to ourselves. If let's not lie to ourselves. If you have to use technology to get around what your God says you should or shouldn't do on a day of a Sabbath, I'm just saying, if you're using technology to literally outwit God, don't you think that you're kind of outwitting yourself? I mean, isn't that what we're really looking at? You dumb mother. God bless these poor fuckers, man. What else we got here? Oh, surprise, surprise, surprise. Solar installations fell 22% in 2025. Well, yeah, Donald Trump had been elected, and the tax policies were all going to expire and change because of the green revolution was essentially a tax revolution and a money grab by big corporation revolution. Okay, I mean they gave $100 million to some Canadian company for some green battery powered buses. They won't even make a good battery powered RV. I'm just saying. Anyway, that's the only way for across a mass zone, across a mass area, that these solar farms are gonna be profitable. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I believe solar is a way to go for people that want to maintain their independence and stay off the grid. Okay, I think that matters more than most people realize, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Donald Trump, of course, still at war in the Middle East, has decided that we're going to ramp up the wars here at home, and he's going to partner with Ecuador. That's right, with Ecuador, and they're going to crush the cartels. Oh boy. Yeah. Now, I don't know what all is going on. Just recently, a Colombian Air Force C-141 crashed in the mountains in the border zone. I don't know if it was shot down. I don't know if it was just weather or mechanical pilot. I'm not sure. We do know that the Colombian government has kind of been up in arms since Donald Trump has been, walking around and stomping around in Central and South America. But anyway, so Donald Trump is partnering with these groups, and they're going to go after the drug cartels. Okay. So, yeah. Was it El Salvador that literally started locking all the gangbangers up? And now they have their own, supermax prisons in the nation. But and all these gangbangers covered with tattoos, real bad looking, real desperados, I guess you could call. That's what I would flavor them. So that's how they found peace. They literally had to lock up. And then the crime rate fell, and the murder rate fell in double digits. It was something that happened overnight. Okay, basically. All right. Now, Trump basically, one of the things that Trump is doing is he's doing this. Because, well, look at I look at Ecuador and look at the proximity of Venezuela, look at the proximity of Colombia, and also southern Mexico. Okay, Donald Trump is, I wouldn't be surprised either that Donald Trump has military surveillance and operations going on in Panama. That's right, in Panama, through the narrow strip there, where they can have a better chance of catching drugs that are going through that zone or going around. Okay. The other part of that is the U.S. wants to establish military dominance around both sides of the Panama Canal, because it's going to be an important waterway. It is now, but during war, it becomes strategically important. Now, don't forget, this is another way that Trump can literally try to cut the flow of money and drugs and illegals and everything else going into Mexico. This really does hurt the Mexican economy. If you have an economy where that it is literally a large portion of it, 10 to 20% of the economy is based on illegal activity of one form or another. It could be just, non-taxable sales in families, um, selling goods and every services and all this other stuff, without paying taxes, making income without paying taxes. But of course, drug trafficking and human trafficking and, stealing, fronting stolen goods, everything in the world. Okay. If your economy has, has a 5 to 10% of that in a mix of it, and you have to crack down, you literally destroy 5 to 10% of your economy by enforcing the law. These are the problems that they face more in these third world countries. It truly is. It truly boggles the mind, I guess is what I would say. All right. And so Trump is literally trying to get Mexico to do this same thing. But remember, the president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, is a communist. I mean, I don't know how many people don't get it. I'm just saying. Okay. Now, I expect any day, excuse me, I expect any day for the other tanker to arrive in Cuba with diesel fuel. Now, I know one has. So, yeah. 730,000 barrels of crude oil delivered to Cuba. First oil shipment to the nation in 3 months. This significant relief comes after severe fuel shortages have crushed the already dumb communist regime. Okay, remember, communism is a fucking stupid theory of government to start with. Okay, because the shit that I create and that I might farm, or the animals that I might have, that I might breed them, they're not the fucking states. I mean, I don't like paying taxes to start with, let alone the state saying everything that I own is theirs and vice versa. Okay, and listen, when I in the 1980, was it 1980 or 1981, when the Mariel boat lift was going on, when all those people were fleeing from Cuba and coming to Key West, Florida. Okay. I was a part of the Marine detachments that ended up down there, literally, guarding the prisoners, feeding them. There were whole families. There were pieces of families, and it was. I mean, you don't know how exaggerated the stories were that you heard. I mean, one guy said he was sent to prison because he killed his cow. He had a cow he raised from a calf. It gave milk all its life, and when it became too old to give milk, he slaughtered it to feed his family. The Cuban government allegedly arrested him for killing his cow. And because they should have killed it, and then fed the whole tribe or fed the whole community or whatever. But it was only one cow, but it was their personal property. See, and there's personal property ideas and rights. A lot of liberals have those stupid fucking ideas in America too, by the way, if you're not aware. But I'm just saying. Okay, I'm just saying. Trump has made himself a lot of problems. Okay, and we have a lot of stupid problems that are way beyond, this Israeli-American war in Iran. Okay, that's weird that cycle stuff is coming around. It's So look at the repetition of history, and look back what happened after 1978, and those zones in these areas, and understand, history may not repeat itself, but it will rhyme like hell. Okay, and it will be, like this massive tinnitus ring that goes through society and culture. What else we got going on here? Oh, yeah. 1 in 4 workers who have a 401k have cut the amount of money that they're putting back in their 401k. Whether they're starting new or they're, in their middle ages, these guys have started to cut back on the amount of money that they're putting in these retirement plans. And there's only one reason why: because of the economy. They have to take the extra $200 to $300 or more, out and put it to work today, so they can live and not go under today, waiting for retirement tomorrow. That's the same old song and dance that the American worker has. That they've had all the time. It's been since I've been young. It seems to be the same thing. Well, the United States of America and, NASA, they found another 7 astronauts. Bad joke, Mitch. Oops, that's the wrong one. God, I'm looking at moonlighting when I'm trying to get to the Artemis 2 rocket launch. The rocket launched, and then, just like in the sci-fi movies, the booster rockets flew back down and hung themselves up in 2 big-ass cradles. It is masterful engineering. It is a fucking crazy shit to watch, okay? So they're going to fly all the way to the moon, and they're not going to stop. They're going to do a flyby. What are they looking for? Are they looking to see if those aliens are still fucking pissed at them for, visiting their lunar base? Or are they still looking for the Nazis on the back side of the moon? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I mean, no moonwalk, no touchdown, just a flyby. Oh yeah, we just it's 500,000 miles. We'll just do a flyby. That's okay. Sure. Really? I mean, you've got to be fucking kidding me, right? I mean, I'm just saying. The Artemis astronauts, Reed Weissman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Coach or Koch, I'm not sure, and Jeremy Hansen. Yep, they'll hurtle several thousand miles behind the moon, hang a U-turn, and come straight back to Earth. Now, the hopefully the thing is that this whole spaceship and all of this infrastructure that they have already, that they're flying in, right? Hopefully that will stay in space. They need practice missions to go to the moon. Boy, these are some chicken shit motherfuckers, aren't they? We need a practice mission to go to the moon. And I'm sure a lot of people are saying, we never went to the moon. I'm sure my friend Michael J. says we can't get out of the firmament. God bless. I think everybody should understand that there are different ideas and people have different beliefs. And And the truth is, not one of us have been have been able to prove or disprove the others. Okay, to a point where it will satisfy the deniers. Okay, where the absolute truth will satisfy the village idiot, no matter which way it goes. Whether it's flat Earth, whether it's crystal dome Earth, whether the fact is that we're in some fucking 13-year-old's computer in the future. He's playing, his human farming, and they got super sophisticated programs. I mean, if DMT is right, and dimethyltryptamine and a laser diffuser, okay. If you get a laser that, like from Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, right? And you get something that's a diffuser to put in front of it. And so you put it out there and it kind of spreads itself out, right? Up and down. And you use this illegal drug in those places. I wonder where it's legal. God, Mitch, what the fuck are you doing here? Anyway. So if you use dimethyltryptamine and you look through, you have a laser, and you look at what the laser itself exposes, like at the wall, or at a TV screen or something, and it's all different. It is literally code, like in the Matrix movie. Okay, if that is true, it changes the reality for everybody and everything, because then truly we can all be Bill Gates and literally write our own code to live as we choose, if we are all just a digital light bulb in somebody's computer somewhere in the future. God, that'd be fucked up. Now, it could be true. You know why? Do you know why that could actually be factual? Because 80% of the internet, right? I mean, more than 80%. I mean, let's be honest. The dark net, the internet, and blah, blah, blah. All the nets put together. What do we got? We got sex. We got porn. We got fucking porn for 80 to 90% of the motherfucking internet from start to finish, okay? Now, to be honest, if that actually leads credence to this idea that the Earth and all that we live in is some 13-year-old kid's computer program in the future. In fact, in clear fashion, what we have today, is or are some of the most famous porn stars in the world have now started to target younger people, and they OnlyFans models are now moonlighting as teen influencers. The only question is, what's the pimp rate and what's the pay rate, or is that included in the subscription price to, said influencers' adult content? OnlyFans. Hey, is there a site OnlyHose? Because, come on, give me a fucking break. OnlyHose would fucking wipe OnlyFans off the face of the fucking planet, right? Really. Anyway, the digital landscape, of course, blurs the line between fact and fiction and fantasy. And in some cases, you can go find somebody and buy your fantasy. So, yeah. But God does have his payback and his ways. The founder of OnlyFans died at the age of, 43? With cancer? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, of course, he's Jewish. Sorry for the Jewish paranoia. I'm just saying. I mean, listen, you do know that kids have, there's a video game out now. You can go find it somewhere if you choose. Surviving Epstein Island. Teenagers across America are playing this spoof game. Where I guess you hide out from getting raped on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Oh my God. Hey, I mean, listen, it's not me. I mean, I was reading about it and I scratched my fucking head. I said, excuse me, what the fuck are these kids playing? Yeah, Escape from Epstein Island. So youth in America are pre-training how to escape. They're not just playing, war games. They're not just playing, Harry Potter and the magic digital stick or whatever. Okay. They're playing actual games that matter. I mean, seriously. Okay. That's just, what the fuck is wrong with society? Listen, I'm sorry, but there's not a lot of convenient truths here in the Revolution in the Morning show. Okay? I'm sorry, the line is short for the inconvenient truth of the world that we live in. If you want the convenient lies, you're going to have to go, there's a big line over there somewhere. I don't know where the fuck it is. It's probably sponsored by Shekel and Sons, and you have to be part of the tribe. Private credit, the private credit run is starting to begin. It's getting hot. So, Blue Owl Gates, after shocking 41% of the investors ask for their money back. They might be a little short. Well, we lent out a lot. Remember, the banking. There is a banking crisis going on. There is a real estate crisis going on. The real estate tax bases in America are draining the wallets of every fucking person alive. In fact, paying real estate taxes almost got to the point of paying fucking rent in some places. It's that fucking bizarre, okay? When you have 10 to 20% year over gains in the real estate markets, people that have already bought their houses, they have set up their finances, often so they have $4,000 or $5,000 or whatever left over at the end of the year. Now that's easily eaten up in their property taxes if they have to pay whatever, and their insurances and everything else. There is a crash that is happening right now. They're hiding it with war, right? With the war. Remember, Donald Trump blamed the rise in gas prices on Iran because of the Hormuz Strait. Donald Trump then said, well, fuck you, get your own oil. But then I have yet to see Donald Trump sign an executive order banning the exporting of oil and gas products from the United States of America. If the so and so and so and so is true, then we should be keeping our oil here at home off the world market. It wouldn't surprise me if refineries and others are selling oil from the United States, selling it to China right now. It's just We get them to pay a premium. We get them to pay more. As oil nears a war highs, as Iran's highest bridge in the Middle East was destroyed after Trump's threat of back to the Stone Age. Yeah. Anyway, oil surges after no concrete timeline given in Trump's address. He did. He said weeks and months. I'm sure the Mossad in Israel are laughing like hell. Okay. Democrats asked judge to block parts of Trump's election order. Dun, 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 dun. Lawsuits targeting Trump's election attempts to clean up the voter rolls. The lawsuit challenges Trump directive signed a day earlier that will create a list of eligible voters in every state and prohibit the U.S. Postal Service from sending absentee ballots to those not included on the list. The order, now this was some of the stupid shit that they said, we're going to stop voter fraud, we're going to stop this. You know, listen, they ain't trying to stop shit, okay? That's the truth, that if they don't fix the census part, you can never get the representation part right. And if it's always rigged or weighed heavy with the 30, 40 million illegal immigrants in the United States, then how in the world could and would you know, okay, what the real electorate here is in the United States of America? This is something that Democrats have worked hard to do over a decade plus. And that is to literally loosen up all this stuff and then say we have overlapping, accidents. Really. Democrats claim everything that happens is just it's inconsequential accident in elections, and it's not. 45,000 votes in Georgia was not an accident, okay? Anyway, the right to vote in the federal elections is reserved exclusively for citizens of the United States, and under the Constitution and the federal law, the order reads, the federal government has an unavoidable duty under Article 2 of the Constitution of the United States to enforce federal law, which includes preventing violations of federal criminal law and maintaining public confidence in election outcomes. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but I just do not think that. Now, here's what you could do. Here's what you really could do. That I believe that you could do. If Trump if they gathered a list of people who are legally eligible to vote, and then give it to campaigns, so campaigns can go through the voter rolls that they get from the state, and they can kick motherfuckers out off the voter rolls. And should these candidates find patterns of fraud within the voter rolls, and mistakes and all kinds of other crazy stuff, then what should happen? There should be a lawsuit of some kind, and they should be cleaned up. That's one of the things that Trump probably could do and might be effective, okay? The integrity of the vote has been dismantled by Democrats, and it's done on purpose, okay? It's done so it's like the Publishers Clearinghouse lottery, okay? Literally everybody sends their thing in, some do, some don't. But I'm just saying that, Democrats, if you look at California, and you literally see the voter rolls, and you actually see what's going on in California. And I truly believe that some of these 500,000 plus votes that were seized by a sheriff because of voter irregularity. I believe that they could easily be coordinating with ICE or with the U.S. government, and they could literally be checking, the ballots with illegal voting and illegal immigrant representation within the Congress. Because the truth is, California should lose 5 to 10 U.S. House seats. They should be gone because of illegal immigrants. Not because there's that many less people in the area, because those people are ineligible to vote, so therefore they are ineligible to be counted in the distribution and the breakdown of the power structure of the U.S. House of Representatives that represents the American people, not numbers on a fucking U.S. census. Now, if you want to argue about distribution of monies and blah, 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 that's fine. We can argue about that, but there's no way these motherfuckers should be counted and taken care of. We did have a bona fide moment right before the show started. There was a cruncha under the desk. And I got a sad look when I took it. What you doing to me, man? But don't worry. As soon as the show's over, I'll give it back to him. Anyway, it's crazy, the worlds that we live in. What else we got going on here? Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. U.S. alerts a Goldman Sachs in Paris after an Iranian group threatens a terror bombing. They just tried that at a Bank of America in Paris, if I remember right. Just last week. Yeah, well, nobody has a car. Nobody has driven a car into it yet. So, yeah. Waiver clauses for the pentagram. That's right, the pentagram. That evil fucking state of hell over near the Potomac River. Newly introduced U.S. Senate bill would allow the U.S. military to deploy autonomous, lethal, artificial intelligent systems, autonomous killbots, by granting the Secretary of Defense the authority to override their restrictions. Senate Bill 4113, the AI Guardrails Act of 2026, introduced in the middle of March by Senator Slotkin, a Demitard, presented a framework to how the Defense Department uses AI. Sounds like a retarded politician shit. You know what the truth is? The truth is your enemy is not going to put guardrails on so the military will or will not deploy or will not practice or know or understand killbots. Because that's what we're talking about. Killbots. We have them on the battlefield today, and they'd be quad drones with a fucking suicide bomb on them. Well, with a tip of a bomb on them. They just fly out there and they hit something. It's still a killbot. If you make it autonomous, and you say if it hits something moving and it can identify things, even better, right? These things are here. These things are now. Just like the Sharia law shitbags in Plano, Texas, that need to be rounded up by the fucking By the law enforcement in Texas. Okay? Let's be honest, okay? Anyway. The waiver in there is no language in the waiver clause limiting where the system can be used. Of course, whether it's foreign or domestic. That's, in real war. In real war, there are no laws, there are no rules, there are nothing. If you're in a real killed or be killed situation, then yeah. I mean, I'm not talking like a Ukraine or Iran war. Give me a fucking break. There's, Ukraine is more of a war than anything. The Iran war, is more like practice bombing for our fucking military. Okay? Say what you want, talk about all the strength of the fucking Iranian military, and it's not jack shit. Okay, I'm sorry, it just isn't. All right, it just isn't. So yeah, this idea of putting guardrails on AI kill systems at the Pentagon. Look, first off, we should have a zero lethal kill systems with AI in government police and functions and stuff like that here. Okay, I'm just saying, if something's got to go in and somebody's got to kill somebody, they should not do it with a AI Autobot. They should have somebody with a joystick, okay? They should have a human behind that trigger, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Instead of AI go in and obliterate everybody and everything. Because that's what we're talking about, okay? And in real war, there are no guardrails. There are no boundaries. Can you imagine what would have been like if, we're afraid, we don't want to use the nuclear weapon against Japan. It'll look bad because, oh my God, in the future, blah, blah, blah. And, it's like, fuck them. You got to stop the killing. And until you stand up and say, stop the fucking killing, and this is what we have to do it, then you do it. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Yeah, it's bananas, that this, what we see and what goes down today. So, the Ayatollah broke his silence and said, what'd you talk about, Trump? We didn't ask for a ceasefire. In fact, the Ayatollah broke his silence in written messages, praises Hezbollah and Shia leaders in Iraq. They're real religious brothers, partners in crime, if that's what you want to call it. Okay. And you can say what you like, but in the end, in the heart of all Muslims, they all believe no fucking different than the heart of these people that they call, the most ruthless enemies. They say of the Islamic world. No. It's of all of the world, because the truth is that all of Islam believes that it will conquer the world, and that, the core of the Quran is true. No different than, the Israelis believe that they have to destroy the United States to have Armageddon come, and then they can have their 1,000 years of Jewish shekilness. Fucking retards. Really, retards. China tests the world's heaviest, a 7-ton cargo drone plane. That's right, a drone. flies 1,850 miles to deliver supplies and for recon operations. Imagine that. No. Meanwhile, senators plan a trip ahead of Trump's summit with Xi Jinping. The trip will create friction between Chinese leadership and Donald Trump, who has already pretty much said, fuck you, and fuck you. If I see that clip again, I'll get it. It's sheer crazy, okay? These guys are going to go send weapons to Taiwan, and China is going to say, no, what are you doing? That's our, anyway, whatever they do, we do in Taiwan, it's a challenge to Beijing's claim on sovereignty over Taiwan. Because the gutless motherfuckers in the 1950s did not fucking say no. It's a free nation itself. Of course, China would have probably then, not long after that, nuked Taiwan. And then we would have, I don't know what world we would have then, but it's going to happen somewhere along the line, and probably in a fashion that none of us ever imagined, okay? Anyway, activist mayor in Boise, Idaho has been forced down to take their pride flag down. They've had it up for a decade. The pride flag is a political, ideological symbol that would argue, as some believe, as a symbol of religious dominance and cultural dominance, and against religious symbols and religious symbolism. It's a sad state of affairs to celebrate people's mental fucking illness and fetishes. I mean, let's be honest, it's a fetish flag, okay? Crazy. Just the truth. Well, we do that. The update, everybody in the world is now talking about, what the hell's the matter with that judge in Minnesota? Yeah, they gave a second Somali fraud perpetrator another slap on the wrist. That's right. This guy stole millions, gave him 6 months in prison, and paid back, less than 20% of whatever he is alleged to have stolen. I mean, listen, just like, where was it? They let the guy out of prison? Or they let the guy off with whatever? Oh, man, I got to quit talking about that stuff because, listen, it makes you want vigilante justice on these fucking sons of bitches, okay? When these judges leave murderers and baby killers and rapists and shit out of fucking prison on probation, when they already have a rap sheet, longer than who and the fuck knows what, with all kinds of different shit on it, and everything is an escalation. Now they're molesting and murdering fucking children, and they're still letting them out of fucking prison. The Minnesota judge, one of the reasons I found out after reading through some more stuff and different views, that the reason that she gave that fucking asshole motherfucker 1 year and 1 day. Remember that specific sentence the other day? This motherfucker is going to get help and get set up by the fucking state again. Qualifying for fucking special programs because he got a 1 year and 1 day. Okay? It's an absolute fraud on the judicial system, okay? The truth that nobody wants to say. Yeah, electricity and electric prices. electricity prices. Forget it. There's no going back. You can either try to become independent from the grid, or you can pay through the fucking nose. That's the truth that nobody wants to say. Okay? If they want to put this thing across from where I live, I mean, this massive solar farm, we should all get free electric off of the fucking thing. If we have to look at it, we have to drive by it, we have to deal with it. Yeah, we should at least get a free electric off of the grid, off of that thing for 35 years, as long as the project is running. That's what I had to say, okay? And it's not my fault that then all of a sudden, I use 20 times as much. I put in a 2-phase and 3-phase shop and garage. Yeah, meanwhile, the buildup in the Middle East is continuing as the U.S. sends many of its still active A-10 warthogs to the Middle East. The surge in the Middle East is set to double the number of planes that they have on the ground. Now remember, these things are for what? Close air support, okay? Yeah. As an update on the Artemis 2 rocket, they said that they were having problems with some kind of wastewater collection, something or another. And, my response was, hey, what about those fucking NASA diapers and Depends? I mean, those motherfuckers went the whole way to the moon and back, and I didn't see them make one space dump anywhere. I mean, it'd be pretty fucked up if somewhere some alien is flying along and goes, what the fuck is that? Huh? What the hell is that? Hey, science officer, science officer. I'm sorry, sir. They discarded their feces from their magic underwear in space. Not my fault, sir. The next thing aliens would want to know, are their sensors calibrated to detect that shit? Who knows in America? Meanwhile, everybody's worried about, stopping guns and making liberals and no kings and everything else. Meanwhile, $500 billion of sewage problems and sewer water is literally flowing into the rivers in America. If the state of Virginia and the fucking state of Maryland aren't getting their motherfucking shit together to work with each other to fix that massive sewage problem, the continual flow of raw sewage into the Potomac River. I mean, what the fuck? In Virginia, they're more worried about, they passed a gun bill for automatic, to pass automatic weapons ban. Okay? Yeah. Who proposed and who sponsored the bill to take the guns away from America? Some fucking immigrant that came into America and they put him into a gerrymandered Democrat zone to get elected. And now he's in the United States, or in the Virginia government, state government, literally putting forth bills to strip Americans of their Second Amendment rights. More and more looking like let's just get on with it and have the Second American Revolution before we get too far down the road and we look like some fucking bunch of retards trying to live in Liverpool or London Stan or some other fucking shithole where the third world has established a parallel culture. in America that is literally going to, well, kill you, okay? John Mearshare asks, Mersheimer, excuse me, asks, will Trump go kamikaze? As Napoleon was known to say, God is on the side of the big battalions. Maybe the truth is that Napoleon should have fucking shut his invasion of Russia down and has fucking come back and wouldn't have lost all of his army, wouldn't have been deposed, wouldn't have collapsed, I mean, just another fucking revolution, okay? Strategically, this is the problem that we have, okay? Tankers seized by the United States for one reason or another in the last 12 years had 20 million barrels of crude oil that were on its way to China. Now, I believe all of it was Iranian. Then these 9 vessels delivered 20 million barrels of crude to Chinese ports. The crude was worth $4 billion. Well, imagine that. Obamacare judge orders the administration to restore the legal status of 985,000 migrants in the United States who use the Customs and Border Patrol One app to gain access to the country. That's right, these fucking bureaucratic retards in the CIA and the bean counters and the Justice Department said, "Oh my God, that's a lot of our voters, or our placement holders for voters." Obama appointed Judge Allison Burroughs ruled Trump must restore the legal status of these migrants ordered to leave through the CBP app. Burroughs said the administration acted unlawfully when they sent the notice on the app that read, "Get the fuck out!" No, I don't think it said quite that, but it just said, look, leave. This program was not authorized, was not legal, was not whatever, and you should leave. Anyway, so let's be honest that it's just another effort by the fucking machine to kill America. You take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow on Crazy Ass Fridays. God bless Revolution Radio. Yeah, so Revolution Radio's headed out the door. And, well, so am I here in a minute. Okay. Let's see what else we got going down here, man. The app violated U.S. immigration law by allowing hundreds of thousands to literally pass through migration with a fucking digital app. With literally whatever somebody put in the app. Literally, how can that be legal? I mean, if that was legal, we should be able to vote and raise signatures to get on the ballot digitally, right? Really, we should. So anyway, get ready. More shit coming tomorrow. The defecation is hitting the rotary oscillator, and Donald Trump says, "Help me, help me. It's raining shit. It's raining shit." Well, Donald, everything is orchestrated. You know that. I know that. That's one of the things we'll talk about tomorrow. How everything is literally is a manipulation. So come on down tomorrow, and don't forget, we'll be here. God bless. Good day. And good luck. Take care, everybody. And thank you for changing the world today.